Hey guys, welcome back to Different Faces. I'm Pamela.
And I'm Fatima.
Today we're going to do part two of our friendship story. We're going to do 10 years in 1 hour, catching up, everything that happened in those 10 years that we weren't talking.
It's going to be really hard to add 10 years in like an hour or so. But that's basically what we have without kids in the house and us taking care of things. So we'll try to do it. A lot of questions that we haven't like talked about.
Unanswered questions, things to catch up, and why not do it in front of everybody?
Yeah, might as well. So
Might as well. We already put out our breakup, so let's put up our catching up.
I think it's good to talk about the fact that when our friendship started back again, we never really
Hmm.
talked about what happened. We were like the kids that were like, "Oh, you still want to play? Okay, let's play." And then we never really talked
Yeah.
about what happened, and we just kind of like, okay, we just went back to where we left off. But it was good that we had this like, okay, sit down session of like closure and what happened because I didn't remember and you kind of remember but didn't know what happened. So I'm glad
Hmm.
that we actually did this. I feel like we should have done this
When
5
we
years,
first started talking.
but I don't think neither of us wanted to do it.
Well, I mean, I do remember because looking back at the text messages that we put up on the last video, I did bring it up, but in like a very short message saying, I'm sorry for what happened, but nothing in details. So, but it was definitely good that we talked about it and everything was put out there,
Yeah. And you,
literally out there.
but you didn't have questions or anything?
Yes, but I don't think at the moment it was the right time to bring up the questions, you know.
Mm,
We were just coming back to it and
hmm.
seeing, hey, how are you? You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm like,
yeah.
let me not mess this up. not gonna ask any
They
questions,
were
but
gonna do that all over again.
that it didn't happen. Yeah. Where did we leave off? Like, what happened in our life when we separated? Like, what was going on at that moment? And then we
Hmm.
talk about like what we missed. So you said it was when we were 23, 24.
Hmm.
So I think around that time I was still dating my long-term relationship of 7 years, which
Hmm.
who you happen to be friends with. Um, so yeah, I was dating him still. I was going to college. I was going to school, and I think, working um, at a doctor's office, like doing some reception work and trying to balance like family, boyfriend, school, and work.
Hmm.
Do you remember that?
Well, I didn't know you worked at a doctor's office. I don't think I remember that.
Oh my God, you've been gone that long. You don't remember
Yeah,
that?
girl. Mm-mm.
Your sister
Do you
worked.
remember me working at a Mexican restaurant?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
Paquitas.
Paquitos, yeah.
Paquitos. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what was the last thing you remember about my life?
Girl, I do remember you going to Barry.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Okay, so when we stopped talking, I think I remember you working at a restaurant, and then like shortly after you started working at Best Buy, and then I
yes,
do remember you were going out with, you know,
my
your
ex.
your long-term relationship.
Yes.
So let's get into the relationships then.
Mm-hmm.
So with my ex,
Mm-hmm.
we had an amazing 7 years together. He's a gentle gentleman. He was loving and nurturing and caring. But for whatever reason, I knew in the back of my head he wasn't the one. And
Mm-hmm.
I was dragging it for that long. I feel guilty saying it because I know he really, really loved me. And for whatever reason, I held on longer than I should have. And
Mm-hmm.
I started to hurt his feelings. I think towards the end, I was starting to catch feelings and attraction for, other guys. I was young. I was going to school, and along the way, I think like he noticed, and we ended it. Like it was also like one of those breakups that it wasn't said. Like one day I just stopped and I left, and like it was
You
understood
just
that we're done.
ghosted him?
It's not that I
You
ghosted him.
oh.
It was like it's another story where my memory fails me, but I remember giving him my iPad, and in my iPad I was having conversations with other guys, and I think he
Oh, so
knows.
you here, look for yourself.
No, I didn't
Oh.
know. I didn't
Oh.
know, and
He just
so
happened to look.
he just happened to look because borrowing my iPad for whatever reason, and I think that he happened to see some of the messages, and he didn't really tell me anything. And then one day, I hear from a friend of mine that she's hanging out with my ex because he picked her up from the airport because she was not even from like Miami. She was going to Barry with me, and we will hang out sometimes with her and his friends. And all of a sudden I heard it was like a break, like I don't know, spring break or summer break or something.
And he was picking her up?
And I heard like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in forever. I'm here for the weekend or something." And and your ex was so nice to pick me up from the airport, and I had no idea. I know he was upset because maybe he found something on my iPad, and then I was upset that he had actually picked her up from the airport and they were hanging out. We had this weird relationship where if we were mad, he would go to the clubs and I would go out, and it was just very like permissive towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just, fix it by just being intimate, maybe, and then we wouldn't talk about it, and it was just like okay. At one point, it was understood that it wasn't gonna be a long term situation, and I don't know. I wish like we would have talked about it. Like I wish we would have said, "This is not going anywhere. This is,
Mm-hmm.
I really loved him and I think the world of him, but I don't think he was my person." I wish I would have said that, and
Why do you think, like, what about him do you think that you knew that he wasn't your person?
I think my personality requires more of like
Strong personality?
strong personality because I could push buttons. I guess my purpose in life is like okay, being successful or having a career or let's reach the next goal. I'm very goal oriented, and I think he's more like let's
Go
enjoy
with the flow?
let's enjoy life. Like this is not a race. Let's smell the flowers. Let's experience, and that's
Well,
beautiful.
he's still smelling the flowers.
Look, you need people like that in this world too. Like it's nothing
Well,
wrong.
you need people with the balance.
Yes.
Yes, stop and smell the flowers, but after smelling the flowers, get back to it, you know? You
Well,
can't
you
be
know
smelling the
more about
flowers
him
for
than I
so
do,
long.
so he's still smelling the flowers. Yeah.
Yeah. You wanted somebody more driven, stronger personality, go-getter, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I did at one point like try to see if maybe I can just be like that push and that engine for him. I was like maybe that could work. Like I just keep pushing him and pushing him, and it just made me bitter or
And then you're gonna have to do that for the rest of your life if you guys would have still been together.
maybe.
Like you would have always have to like be like, hey, do this, go, 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 you know? Like it's tiring.
Yeah. In my mind, I think that maybe if maybe he has already found that person that will maybe motivate him to like, okay, want to go and move on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he has found somebody like that, or hopefully he does find somebody that will do that, and maybe I wasn't it. So, but there's nothing. That's why when I see those memes about like exes, there's nothing that I can say bad about my ex.
Yeah, no, he was a very nice person.
He is a very
Uh,
nice person.
yeah,
He's not dead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he's still alive. He is
Yes.
a very nice person.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I don't have him on social media. I don't want to be disrespectful to my husband, but
Mhm.
here and there we do say like happy birthday or happy holidays, and um, and just like, you know, when I had Adi, I think he reached out and said congratulations. So randomly, like once a year or every other year, um, we do catch up. And
Hmm. Well, I haven't talked to him in I don't know how long.
I know you guys were like really close when me and you stopped talking. Um,
Yeah, but also when me and my ex broke up, like he was one of the friends to like go on that side, I guess. We used to, yeah.
oh. So I broke up with him like maybe 2, 3 years after me and your friendship ended, I think. Right?
I don't know when you. I mean, I don't think I was in the picture or like already when you guys broke up. So it must have been.
Yeah, maybe like 3, 4 years after our friendship ended. What about you? Your long term relationship was the entire time that we were
Yeah. So my relationship started 2011, 2010,
okay.
2010, and then we ended things 20 ending of 2019. So almost 10 years.
And we started talking 21. So you had basically just 2 years since we so from the period that we weren't talking, he was mostly in your life, and then you just had
Yeah.
2 years of like freedom
Yeah.
before you got into your relationship.
Yes.
Same with me. I had 2 years of single life before I met my husband.
Did you go crazy? I went crazy. I was literally I was literally going out to the club like every weekend.
So you
Yeah.
dated other guys after him? Wait, did you had any dates, or were you faithful to him?
Of course. What do you mean?
You have.
I've
Yeah.
never cheated on anybody.
Okay.
No, yeah, I was faithful. And even when okay, so in our relationship, I think it was 2017, he moved to California
Hmm.
to pursue his dreams and the career that he wanted. And we were doing long distance from 2017 to 2019, which
Two.
that's where the relationship became hard. A lot of, I mean, we had issues prior to that,
Hmm.
but it became worse.
Was he faithful to you?
Till this day, I believe deep in my gut that he wasn't, but I will never know the truth. He
Yeah.
says he was faithful, but you know,
You know, till this day, I don't know either if he was faithful to me or not.
your ex,
Yes.
I would have never think that he would cheat on you.
Mm, there was times where he was at the clubs, and I
Yeah, but
wouldn't.
just because he's at the club doesn't mean he's cheating on you.
Okay, but
That
I'm gonna tell you
man
what happened
worshipped the floor you walked on.
one time.
Like, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, everybody said that.
Yeah.
There was one time I'm gonna tell you what happened. Puma. I went to his house, and I knew that he had gone out the night before because he got tagged in some pictures, and I happened to see, and he was
That
just
was the way to find out when people was not at home. People would get tagged.
he was tagged in some pictures, and and he had a group of girl friends at work, and I was just like, I can either ask, or I can just be sneaky about it. So I went to his house and I asked questions. Really, I was like there maybe 7, 8 in the morning. Like I was asking questions, and he was like really sleepy, and I wanted to like kind of catch him like lying or something.
Hmm.
And I don't know why I was going to open a drawer. I don't know what happened. And he put his hand in that drawer.
Like he was hiding something.
Yeah. And I like went crazy, like trying to open the drawer. And he was crazy, like on top of that drawer. And I remember like being so mad. I had a sweater. I was hot, and I took the sweater and I went like this. And you know when when you have a zipper that goes up and down, the zipper hit him in the eye, and you
Oh
know,
my god.
and he was like, ah.
That was your chance to open the drawer. Did you open it?
No, because I was scared. I was like, oh my
Oh
gosh,
my god.
are you okay? And then he's like, you have to go. And like, I was like, I went, I think I drove, and I was just like, he's he's cheating. I don't know. I was trying to imagine, and then I wouldn't talk to him. And then 2 3 days later, when we actually talked, and I was like, what was there? And he was like, he blamed his friend. He said that there was like a girl's underwear, and that it was his friend's girl. And I'm like, what?
Why would his friend's girl underwear be in his drawer? And even if he knew already that it was his friend's, why just not put it
If
out there at that
I wasn't
moment?
gonna believe him, he's like, I wasn't gonna believe him. He got scared that I
Boy,
was.
you're definitely not gonna believe him after.
He blamed his best friend, and I was just like, so you're telling me that this is like a community bed. This is a
No.
community bed, and then your friends bring girls here.
And first of all, like he knows you and you're his girlfriend. He said, I don't think, I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't believe that.
no, I think I thought about something happened, and he, did step out of that, step out of her, whatever. I thought about that, and then I thought about maybe like he tried like weed or something, and because I'm so like against drugs, that maybe he didn't want me to see it, or I don't know. I don't know. Till this day, I don't
I just
know.
feel like if he, first of all, I just have so many questions. If if he knows that somebody left an underwear there, first of all, you're not gonna leave it there. You're gonna throw it away. Or are you gonna just keep in it so like she could come pick it up next time? Like,
Yeah.
oh,
What
that
like
I take back what I said about him not ever, me ever not thinking that he would ever cheat. But
Yeah, I mean, you can worship the ground someone walks on and still um cheat on them if the opportunity presents itself. He was going to clubs a lot without me, and just being like towards the end, he was just being sneaky. So I was talking to other guys. Like my, I guess, betrayal was more emotional, but I was
mhm.
talking to other guys, and he saw that on my iPad.
So for me, my gut feelings that my ex might have cheated on me, even though he says it never happened. One of the things is that when he was in California, he made a friend. And, he would spend time at her house whenever he says, yeah. Supposedly she had a boyfriend and they would go out of town and she would have him take care of the house whenever she wasn't there. And he would sleep over, shower there, whatever, right? To give him the benefit of the doubt. And then one of the times that he came to visit me back in Florida, he was playing his game while FaceTiming her. How are you at my house FaceTiming some girl while you playing your PS4?
Hmm.
Like I was like, at first I didn't know who he was talking to. I was like, who are you talking to? And I saw it was a blonde girl, so I knew it was her. So I got mad, and then we got into like a huge argument, like, oh, it's not like that. When they say it's not like that, it is like that. So till this day, I think he did something with her, even though he says he never did. And then obviously, like, there's other stories. I don't want to name all, but I never got like a confirmation from him saying, "Oh yeah, I messed up." But I think
That's
you know,
disrespect.
it is disrespectful.
I understand like if he does it in your face, then it's like, oh, it's probably like nothing. Like, or maybe that's just the way. But if he's at your house, why isn't he talking to you while he plays PlayStation instead of FaceTiming her? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know if I was because I was doing something. I don't know if I was cooking or something, and then he was just on his game. But Yeah.
No, that no, no.
Oh,
Was
and actually, even after, because when we broke up, and then a little after, like we talked about. I asked again all the things that I believed, that he cheated, like because I remember every single thing. I brought up the questions again, and of course, he denied all. But he did say that she did like him, but she knew that he had a girlfriend. So
Hmm.
I was like, oh, sure, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that closure of like you staying in someone's house, that no, that would have been a red flag, and I don't think I would have been okay with that. But then you from here, what are you supposed to do? You know?
Exactly. No, and the main reason why we broke up was because when he was in California and I was in Florida, the communication wasn't there anymore. Like we would go days without talking. Like, oh, obviously there was a 3 hour difference, but 3 hours is nothing. And oh, I was busy or whatever, right? And like literally, like the communication just kept like going smaller and smaller. And I
Hmm.
told him, you either come back to Florida if you want to keep this relationship, or we're done. He didn't go back to Florida, so we're done.
Was that difficult to accept, or were you already like made up your mind? You were already talking to other guys. You were already like had your eyes on like how was your your mental?
I wasn't talking to anybody, and I wasn't like eyeing anybody because I didn't have the opportunity. Like at work, there was no like at work, it was mostly girls. Like there was nobody for me to like see. But I did emotionally check out months before. Like every time he would come visit me,
Mhm.
like my emotions would just kept like turning off. And that's why when you said the last episode that your sister said that I was treating him bad, that was what your sister was talking about. Like whenever he would come visit me and like we would all hang out, like we would go out, I was just like not, I guess, I don't want to say not interested,
Mhm.
but it just wasn't the same, you know? Like it came to a point where being around him annoyed me. And that didn't feel the same. The communication wasn't there, the connection wasn't there. So it just. So I was already emotionally checked out. And by the time we broke up, it was just like whatever about it.
So the breakup wasn't a heartbreak.
No, because I had the heartbreak before the breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you have the heartbreak?
Well, he was in California. And when I would literally, this is not a good thing to admit, but I was literally begging him to like, let's work on this relationship, come back. Either come back or I will go over there and then we'll figure things out over there. But neither of those things happened. So I
Was
just
he
got
saying
tired of.
was he saying like don't come here?
Well, he didn't want me to go there because at that time he was staying at at the family house, I guess.
Mhm.
And that family, it was an old house. So like the electricity wasn't really working good and like the shower. So he would either shower like at his aunt's house or like at the gym. Like the house wasn't really like livable, I guess. So he would just basically sleep there. So he didn't want me to go there.
Mm,
Um, but I feel like that's no excuse.
yeah. I mean, shoot. If I want you to come back or to come live with me, I'll work my ass out so I can, have a place for you to come and hurry up. You know,
Yeah.
I can't do long distance. I don't think
Oh,
that, like, my trust issues will not allow that. And
it was literally like the worst of the worst. Like me before going to bed, in the beginning we would always talk or text or whatever. And then I would text, no replies. And obviously I can't fall asleep, like thinking, what is he doing? Why is he not texting? Why is he not calling me? You know? Like constantly checking his social media to see if he's posting something. Like I was literally going crazy.
yeah, I know.
So
I've been there. I've been there when you're like, you know, calling back to back, no answer, your gut hurts, like your stomach hurts, and you're like your mind playing tricks on you, and then
yeah.
it's like, oh, I fell asleep. And you didn't think of saying good night?
Exactly. You didn't feel your phone?
Yeah.
Like those things to me, like crazy. I
But
don't
then there's
understand.
also the, like, yeah, what if he didn't fall asleep, you know? But whatever, that heartbreak came afterwards. Yeah, I get it. To me, the heartbreak, it was also like mentally disconnected, but my heartbreak, yeah, my heartbreak happened like every time something happened, like
Hmm.
an argument or him going out.
Yeah, like little by little, like you just like good in the relationship and the sweet things or whatever you want to call it. It was more towards the middle. Like the beginning and the ending was rough, but the middle was, when things were good.
What was the biggest lesson you learned from that relationship?
Honestly, to love myself because I feel like there were a lot of times where I didn't put myself first and I didn't listen to myself. Because there were plenty of times, whether he admitted it or not, there was plenty of times where I felt in my gut that he was doing something and I just was led by his words and just, forgave him, I guess.
Mm.
But learning how to listen to my gut for sure. What did you learn from your last relationship?
I think I learned that sometimes just like having a good person is not enough. Good qualities is not enough. And same thing, I should have listened to myself earlier, but we were young. I think
Hmm.
I enjoyed the years that we were all good. There were beautiful years in the beginning. He was, you know, my first love, I guess. People's feelings are at risk, and I wish I was more honest, or I don't know. I wish I would listen to my gut, and I wish I would have like a sit down talk where we say, our piece.
Hmm. This goes back to the last episode. Say what you need to say.
Yeah.
So after I broke up with my ex, which was ending of 2019, that's when I went crazy and going out to the club. I was literally on dating apps. I was like,
Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
downloaded like a couple like dating apps and I did go on a couple dates, which was weird because I feel like I'm awkward. I did start talking to, when I went to the club, I met this guy. God, I met this guy through a friend. He was
Okay.
a Puerto Rican guy, a couple years older than me. We talked for like maybe like a few months and it just, it wasn't it because he had two kids by two different baby mamas and but the kids were not in his life,
Mm.
supposedly because the moms.
Both moms.
Yeah. And then one day I saw, he told me that he was hanging out with his sister for the weekend for, I don't know if it was Memorial Weekend or what it was. But then, me being an investigator,
Mm-hmm.
I saw pictures on Instagram of him. It was him, his sister, his kid, and his ex, which was the baby mama. So when the weekend passed, like I knew he was hanging out with his ex, but he didn't tell me that. And I asked him, I was like, so like who were you with on the weekend? And he never brought her up. And I sent him the picture. And it was like, oh, that's my son's mom. Like, what do you expect? And I was like, so why couldn't you tell me?
Mm-hmm.
If it's the mom and nothing going on with you, say something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like little things, like that. And I told him, you know what? I don't have to deal with this. Like, I was literally in almost a 10-year relationship having to like deal with things like this. I'm not going to.
You guys official, like boyfriend or girlfriend, or just dating?
No, we're just dating, like talking. So we weren't even like, official like that. So I was definitely not gonna deal with that. And he literally, like, when I broke things off with him, he was crying and he was like, "Oh, I want you to be my girlfriend. You're the one for me." I was like, "Oh my, that was such a turn off." Like he was literally,
I
I
had
was
one
like,
of
oh no. He was like, how can you be so cold like that? I'm like, mm-mm.
those. I never had a dating app. So when you had, is that the ones you swipe right and left?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many of those that you actually like went and met up with?
Actually, I have a scary story to tell you about that. But I actually met up, I think two. But the first one, it was on an app called Hinge. And that was actually scary because so I went on a date with this, it was a Cuban guy. I started dating Hispanic guys. I was like, I'm done with Haitians.
No way.
So like, let me look somewhere else. We actually went out on a date,
Uh-huh.
and then after the date, like the next day, how you text normal, like, "Hey, I have fun" or whatever, right? So he basically blocked me, but I I saw some. So the his name on the app was different than when I got in his car. You know how sometimes like it says like iPhone connected or whatever. There was a different name. And I was like, whose name is that? Like, is this not his car or like no whatever? But that name se me quedó en la cabeza. Like it stayed in my head.
You are an investigator.
No, hell yeah. So then I after he blocked me or whatever, I looked up the name that I saw on the car. And this guy was actually arrested a few years before for impersonating a cop.
Oh my
Not
God.
only that, but he was pulling girls over and forcing them to do like sexual things. And he was arrested for that.
And you were intimate with him?
No.
Oh,
And I don't know if maybe that's why he blocked me, but can you imagine if like for like when I saw this, I was shaking and I told my coworker because I was at work when this happened when I found out. I was like, oh my, like I could have been dead or I
yes.
could have been raped or something.
Yeah, that's scary. Is that what
Like
you have with the dating apps?
for a while.
Not permanently. Okay.
Not permanently. I actually met my husband on a dating app.
Mm. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
No, no,
We
no.
met on Chispa. Yeah. We met on Chispa and so Chispa is like an app for Hispanics
Mm,
and it's based on your area.
mm,
So you're only gonna meet people that are near you.
okay.
And which is funny because he didn't live in Florida. He's from New York. He was at that time he was visiting his dad.
Mm.
And we matched. I saw a cute guy and we matched and then he's the type of person that we were, hey, how are you? My name is blah blah blah. FaceTime. He wanted to video call me automatically.
To see if you
And
look like your pictures. That makes
but in
sense.
my head I was like, why are you trying to like no, I don't do that. But whatever. I obviously I got ready really fast because I wasn't prepared for it.
Yes, yeah.
Um and we video call and after I think the next day or 2 days later we met face to face
Mhm.
and we hung out every single day that he was in Florida.
Hmm.
And then we just been together ever since.
Aw, such a cute story. Wait, after like dating 2 years, you just told me about the Cuban scary guy. You told me about the Puerto Rican crazy.
Mhm.
You went out to clubs.
Mhm.
So tell me, like, what else happened during those 2 years? Like, did you dated anybody else, or it was just hookup?
Besides those people, no hookups. No. Oh, and there was this other guy that I met after the
Mm.
fake cop. I met a guy. He was actually Dominican, but he was like a white Dominican, and I met him on Bumble, and we were also talking. Not as long as a Puerto Rican guy. Yeah, that guy was in love with my feet.
I don't remember your feet. Can you show me? Oh yeah, I can see why. Like he had like a.
But yeah, he would be sucking on my toes and everything.
Oh my god! And then during those 2 years, you said you were going to the clubs a lot. When you would go to the clubs, were you like talking to guys, or were you just with
Well, no, I
friends?
wasn't going to the club the full 2 years. I was going to the club because it was 29. Well, it wasn't really 2 years because it was ending of 2019 when I broke up with him. 2020, I was going to the club even in the pandemic because Amsterdam was still open. So 2020 is when I was going to the club, and then I met my husband
Mhm.
February of 2021. So it was basically 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your circle of friends then?
So definitely my cousin. Then I was also going out with my friend from friend from work. She worked at Pediatric Associates. Her boyfriend and his friends. That's where I met the Puerto Rican guy. So
Got it, got it. You were not hanging out with any of like our circle of friends anymore.
no.
Let me ask you a question. When we stopped hanging out, I kind of distanced myself. You were still hanging out with our group of friends a little bit for a little bit, right? Did you ever
Yeah, and that was because my ex became friends with
with
your
me?
ex.
Yes.
So he
Okay.
would invite him to the club, and I will sometimes would go. I didn't always go, but
Did you hear about my breakup then?
oh my god, if I'm being honest, I don't remember if I did or didn't.
Okay, okay, okay. I just wanted to see if you heard any like, Jews or anything like.
No, and I feel like your ex is not really like a gossip type, so it's like
Life for 2 years. I also went
oh
crazy.
yeah,
Not crazy like I had no dating apps. Um, at that time, I was hanging out with my friend. Remember Jennifer?
from the school.
Yes. So my mom
Okay.
worked at school. That was like her assistant, and she was around my age. And my mom would like invite her to the house, and then we will have like we will sometimes go out. And I'm not like a club type. I wish I was then. Like I wish I can go to the clubs right now. And I'm like, God, before I didn't. Why? I don't know. I guess I was like busy. I was in school. I was tired. I was working, but I wasn't dating because of apps. I was dating because, okay, so I started going to different places that I was invited to, right? And I was now
Hmm.
single, not like, oh, that's, you know, a girl that has a boyfriend. So online or on Instagram, I met this guy that was sick. When I met him, he was gonna have a surgery that could be life threatening, and it could potentially remove his colon, where he might have to have a colonoscopy bag. But his brother had a surgery for the same disease that he had, and he had passed away. So I dated him the months before his surgery, like 2 or 3 months. And the outcome would have been either potentially he passed away, or he might, end up with a colonoscopy bag, or small chance that he was going to be fine. He was very interesting. He was very like he was one of those guys that was wild, completely nothing like I was. He was into racing, like he was a racer, like he had like those Hondas that
Where's
are
he from?
very loud. He was like half Jamaican, half Dominican. Not a bad looking guy, very sweet. He was just not going to be my husband.
Hmm.
And I was just dating.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes right after a breakup, you don't need your husband.
No,
You've been in this like cage for so long. You just need to
jail, jail, jail.
be free. Or jail. He's in this jail for so long. They just need to be free,
Yeah.
run wild.
Like he was into racing and strip clubs, and I don't know, I was like another person then. I was like,
Hmm.
then he had his surgery and everything was fine, and I was like, okay, everything's fine, this is where I exit. Yeah, he wasn't like a professional type, and I don't think he was going to be for me. Then I remember their university had like a alumni reunion or party, and I saw my crush when I was in school. When I was a freshman, I had this crush on this senior, and he was also a soccer player for my school. And I remember just seeing him, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was my crush. And I remember like telling like the girlfriend that I had, I was like, oh my gosh, and they're like, oh well, why don't you say hi? And I was like, okay. Confidence, and I just went and I was like, listen, when I was a freshman, I had a crush on you. It's like, who are you? Like, I don't remember you. Like, for sure you didn't remember me. I had braces. I was like
Oh my
80.
god, so funny.
We started
You guys
dating.
start talking?
Yeah, we started dating. He was in his master's. He was still like in school. He was doing his master's, and he was like a school teacher and coaching soccer, and he became very obsessive, and